1, 2, 1, 2. We are live on the Tech Buck. I said Buck. That's an indication of how this day is going to go.
The Tech it's Network. Screwed up already, man.
I know. Leave it to me, man, to screw it up. The Jeff Adams Show, live here, direct, doing what we do. Let's see if I can do a great fade on this. Let's see. Little way to a fade. Don't judge me, Eric. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's a horrible fade. Oh, the music's back. Ah, shoot the Yola. Anyways, welcome to the Jeff Adams Show here, live on the techbuzz.net and the TheJeffAdamsShow.tv. It is great to be here. And for all you tech heads out here, I hope we don't disappoint. We may talk about a few Google stuff. But I mean, hey, with the tech stuff, there's so much stuff out there. And I think if we talked about tech stuff, we would do it injustice. We just like to read the tweets or watch the techbuzz.net for the latest info. That's what we do. So with that, this show is about or trying to strive for creativity. Strive for it. We're not perfected it. I made a career out of helping people be creativity. But when it comes to myself, and as Movie Buff says, he compares this show to the Seinfeld. But I don't really get it. I really don't. Maybe it's a show about nothing that leads to nothing. Maybe that's why we get the Seinfeld reference. But anyways, I'd like to introduce the Merry Monk of Love, live from Key Life Studios. What is up, my man?
Hey, Jeff. Good to be here. I've made some notes. If you would like to reference them, I think I could help clarify what we're doing here. I actually have 3 points, and they each of the points have a show and a P in it. I've got the show premise, the show purpose, and show production. I think I've laid it all out here in a nice, concise way. If you'd like me to share that, if you just keep doing what you're doing, that's fine. I'm here to serve you. I'm also here to take calls 1-888-547-8383. I can screen these things, and then we can get you on the show, the Jeff Adams Show. 1-888-547-8383.
Hey, by the way, I also like to introduce. We are on his channel. We, with this, you could probably look at me and say that I'm a hot mess. In many, many ways. And the fact that I have a jihad beard because I'm yes, you do. Because I'm on strike, because no one has called the show except for one person. Until someone calls the show, I will be on strike. And not a terrorist or anything like that. I'm just an average Joe guy. But I wanted to introduce.
Are you saying you're saying that you're just gonna grow that out? You're not gonna shave. You're just gonna keep sporting that until somebody calls in?
Yeah, I'm gonna grow it out as long as my wife. I say, hey, I'll shave it when someone calls in, but really, it's as long as my wife doesn't say anything, I'm gonna keep it going. It's like almost my hair loss problem. I can at least grow a beard still and rock it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I gave up. As you can see, I gave up. I just said, you know what? It's all gone. But I like what you've got going on there. Actually, there's a method to his madness. There's this wall that he has, kind of this pitch flip, if you see that. And that's hiding what's behind. So if you got actually that shot, I don't want to give you too much, but if you want to bring that down, Jeff, you'll see.
It's crazy too. It's like you get caught. It's like when you get older, you get caught in these old hair waves. Like actually this hairstyle was actually popular in the 90s. And somehow, some way, my hair's, it's falling out on the top of my head, and then I get stuck with this little thing that I have to do. Because if you part it to the side, or you part it to this side, or you flip it back, or even you could do the feather back look. Go straight to the 80s with it, like your little great pictures.
When mine was going, I used to part it in the middle, and I had nice long hair. I used to part it in the middle, and the part just started growing. It just got wider and wider. I'm like, this shit. I'm done.
Anyways, I want to introduce, he's pushing the buttons. I don't know if he's twisting the knobs, but he's pushing them or twisting them if I get it wrong. Stephen Haywood of the Tech Buzz hit me up and said, hey, there he is right there. the man. This guy is a wizard of broadcast magic. That's his new title. Stephen Haywood, the Wizard of Broadcast Magic.
So the idea is that he's going to run all the tech so that you can focus on hosting the program.
let's make sure I can even do that. I can't use excuse. I was pushing buttons and stuff. I didn't know
so
I was
far,
doing.
Yeah, so far I think you might have lost your excuse. We're expecting a lot more now, Jeff. You could have always just said, "Oh, I'm pushing the buttons. I'm thinking about so many things," but we've taken that away. So bring it. Let's have a show
anymore. I just don't know. I just don't know what I'm doing.
So
now, can I help? Because I think my notes are helpful. Or you just want me to shut up?
No, man. Just share your notes. Tell them what the show is attempting to be and what it strives to be. Go ahead.
Okay. So I've got the show premise, the show purpose, and show production. You see how that all just flows? Nice 3 points, memorable show premise, show purpose, show production. So this is what I threw out. The premise is Jeff hits 40, looks back at his struggles and successes, and needs creativity back in his life. Okay? And he's been in the business with various artists, music for the most part, but he has some great stuff to offer. But he has lost his own way creatively. And so this is an effort to come back with that creative spark in his life. So the show purpose, as middle-aged producers, Jeff and Eric want to encourage each other and provide valuable advice to young creatives. So we have a little something that we offer in that way in what we do. I'm a Telly Award-winning producer. Jeff has a bunch of awards there for what he's done, and maybe we can help you out. Show production. Each week, Jeff and Eric provide one insight for creatives each and open the lines for callers. We're not caller-driven or guest-driven, but we're open to both. And I think that provides kind of a structure so you know where we're coming from. Was that helpful? As a producer, that's the kind of thing I'm trying to bring here.
That is very helpful.
Anything you would add or delete?
Wait a minute. I'm stressing out. Oh, wait. I don't have to touch buttons. Okay. Yeah, Stephen Haywood's doing that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's that's a direction that we want to go. Like I said, I made a career out of critiquing other people, but when you sit in front of the camera, it's a little harder to critique yourself. And there's going to be moments when. What was the thing you said last week, Eric, about sucking? What was that? I think that's our motto, right?
Yeah, the Jeff Adams Show, sucking less. Because I read a quote from Ira Glass, and he talks about how you just got to get out there and start doing it. Start doing what you do. You got into this for because you have some taste, and you have some creative stuff. You have what you want to share and all that, and you think you know what's good. And when you get out there and you start doing your thing, it's not good. But the gap closes only as you persevere and you keep putting your stuff out there. That over time it sucks less and less and less, and your good taste actually starts to come through in what you're producing. And so I think at episode 10 of this podcast, we see already the gap closing, and we're finding our way. We know what we're about now. I think if you agree with my little list there, and the Jeff Adams Show, sucking less. I mean, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing badly.
That's correct.
Is what I'm saying. Or like Anne Lamott would say about writing. She says, just write a really horrible first draft. You just got to get it out there. You can't be stymied by your internal critic. You got to let the stuff flow. And so there's that.
That is so correct. I think it's on the money. We want to make this show, about you guys, as you guys are in the chat room. Thanks so much for hanging out and interacting with the show. Most of you guys are fans of Stephen Haywood of the Tech Buzz. We appreciate Stephen Haywood coming in and producing the show. Big ups to him. I got to tell you, when you have a vision to do something and you got to do everything, it's almost like, from my standpoint, looking at doing this show, is like you've got all this vision, like U2, the band, and you show up and you've got to play your instrument, all your instruments, do vocals, but you got to run your own sound. Guess what? U2 wouldn't sound that great. So big ups to Stephen Haywood for producing the show, and me not worrying about, am I recording right now? Am I streaming out? it takes off a lot of pressure, big time to do what we do and try to slam dunk this thing. I mean, we're just getting started doing this. I mean, this is the episode number 10 of what we're trying to do. It's just to encourage people to follow their dreams and be creative and, do what they do and do what they love to do and make it a passion and career, or maybe not. I mean, it might be something you have a passion to do that you do on the weekend. I mean, not everybody's set up to make this their career, but let me tell you something. Strive for it. That's what we're about, pushing the envelope. We're going to have, great people calling in and great people that we're interviewing on the show that are creatives, from TV, film, broadcasting, you name it. We're going to bring them on the show. So hopefully if you're a creative and if you're in broadcasting, I guess the cool thing about being on the Tech Buzz is on the Tech Buzz, it's very, engineering like, and the tech specs of everything and what you're using and how to do it. But basically what we're going to be bringing to this network is creativity. And I have made a career of being creative. And Eric, you have as well as producing a lot of radio shows in the past. And that's what we bring here on this network.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it like the Tech Buzz is the hose. You know what I mean? That's the delivery system. That's how you get the water from here to there. What we want to do is help you put something in the hose. What do you then bring once you've got all these great capabilities and, the way things are now, everybody's got a microphone. The internet, there are no gatekeepers. There's nothing keeping you from putting your stuff out there. So then the question is, what do you want to put out there? Are you just on there for the sake of doing it? Or do you have something that's unique? I think everybody actually has something unique. Whether or not they want to get about putting it on the internet, that's another step. But what we want to do is encourage each other and you guys that are a part of this to develop what it is that's unique about what you're bringing, and then put the water in the hose.
Exactly. Put the water in the hose.
So far we've got 2 slogans. The Jeff Adams Show, sucking less. Put the water in the hose. If you take away anything, that's what we've come up with so far.
I just don't like the sucking and the hose part. It's a little etchy, I think. The hose.
Okay. Yeah, you don't like that? What do you got problems? You scared?
Trying to stay family centered.
You insecure in your masculinity?
The sucking and the hose stuff. I don't know. So, trying to stay family focused and, friendly. So when I have kids.
Oh yeah. Family friendly. I forgot that part.
Yeah. We're trying to sound like one of those Christian radio
started
stations.
with dude, I was just talking about sucking less and putting water in a hose. You're the one that started making it dirty.
I did.
Sasquatch. You big balding Sasquatch.
We were starting to sound like one of those Christian radio stations. Safe for the little ears in your family.
I've never been safe for any ears, really.
No, I do get annoyed. I mean, I've got 2 kids, adopting another one from Haiti. And, I watch a lot of these podcasts and I just watch them because, I'm big fans. I watch a Tech Buzz. If I don't catch it live, I watch it in the podcast. I watch a lot of the GFQ network, so it's, it's important sometimes, you're just kind of watching it and, you don't want something to come out and.
You're right. Okay. I take the rebuke. I will rein it in for you. I do it for Steve. I'm no stranger to keeping it in between the lines there, and no worries.
You know me.
Dads,
you know me. I'm a hot mess. I'm a hot mess, man, and I'm gonna slip up from time to time. I don't have it all together. I wish I did. Man, my life would be so much better. Speaking of which. Back to the midlife crisis.
Okay.
Yeah, we do need to. I just heard a voice in my head.
You just violated the thing. Let me just tell you what just happened. So we're checking out. Okay, we're gonna have the little voice in our head that you can't hear as the viewer, listener, but will tell us things. Okay. And so I joke with Jeff before that. So the appropriate response is as soon as the voice comes in your head, then You respond to that on the program. That's what you do. That's the professional thing to do. And then he actually just did it.
I was like, God, is that you?
Here I am.
God,
Lord, send me.
It's the tech God giving me pointers.
I have a word from the Lord. He wants me to give my website.
I'm going to choke here. I'm going to die. All right, you can find me at TheJeffAdamsShow.tv. I blog weekly, but forgive me, I didn't blog this week because of things happen. You know, my dad was in the hospital, so I was a little bit busy. But you can check out TheJeffAdamsShow.tv and check out what's going on in the Jeff Adams Show world. And on to you, Mary Monk of Love.
Yeah, I blog at themerrymonk.com, and there you have it. I put up a post there. You can ignore that first post. I put that up about, some stuff that is unfinished business on the site. But there you go. You want to direct your attention to the Make Time to Burn post. There are some details there about an event coming up in Miami, June 1st. I'm going to be speaking for El Lector Speaker and Cigar Series. Really excited about this. It's in Miami. You can email me or click the link for the Facebook page to get some more information. But June 1st, 7, if you're in the area, come on out, and I'll be giving a little talk that's along the lines of the book that I just wrote. We're getting there. I expect it back from the editor on 5/20, and then we'll get it to the agent in waiting and all that. But I'm going to be talking about the book, and the information's there at themerrymonk.com. Would love to see you. There's going to be cigars provided by the Toronto family, and some light fare as well, and a great bunch of folks down there. Marcos has been great to us, actually putting us up at the Biltmore. Can you believe that?
That's pretty hot, man. I'm sorry I declined.
Yeah, I'm going to be living large, man. Going to Miami.
Real Smith style. I'm sorry I declined your calendar event, but, for June and beyond, my whole weekends are planned by my wife. And I saw that. I'm like, man, I would actually like to go to that. By the way, with the cigars that you're smoking, are you going to have any Cuban cigars there by chance?
Well, I don't know. I mean, isn't that illegal?
Well, if you get on a plane to the Bahamas and buy it from some guy on the street and then put it in your shoe and then fly it back, not so much.
Well, I don't know. I've heard whispers of such things, but I couldn't tell you for sure, and I couldn't tell you who's involved. But I do know that the Toronto family makes an exquisite cigar, a number of different ones, but they're going to be providing them, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Who is the Toronto family, by the way?
Toronto. Yeah, see, here's the thing with El Lector. It's kind of continuing on a tradition from the old days when they would have a speaker in, El Lector, and he would come and read philosophy or some selection from a book, Shakespeare, while the people rolled cigars. So they would be rolling them in Cuba, and this guy would get up and talk, and he'd be hired to do this. I don't know, kind of helps pass the time or something like that. But the idea behind El Lector is continuing this tradition. So that's why the cigars and the speaking and how the two go together. But Toronto family, I've not actually smoked their cigars. I'm really looking forward to it. They're the folks that are providing the cigars for that evening and have provided the cigars for a number of the El Lector events.
And let me tell you something. The thing about a good cigar is, what's just a good cigar is when you smoke it and the next day you feel like you got punched in the face. That's when you know it's a good cigar. In fact,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't smoke a lot of cigars. I smoke them from time to time. I mean, I think 2 years ago, I got some cigars on Father's Day from my kids and my wife, and I still haven't smoked all the way through them. But I actually went through, we went to the Bahamas back in January, and I got some Cuban cigars from, supposedly some Cuban cigars from a guy on the street. And I smoked it a couple weeks ago, and man, I brushed my teeth. I did mouthwash. I did the whole nine, and literally still the next day, it felt like, my wife in her sleep, leaned over and punched me in the face. And I woke up and like, man, that hurt. I mean, I think smoking cigars is worse than a hangover. What do you think, Eric?
I don't. The two usually go together. So I couldn't tell you which one's which. I don't know for sure. I will say here's a really good one. The 1990 Rocky Patel. That's one that I have had that was given to me by our friend Nino. And if you want to try a real nice cigar, man, that was a nice smoke.
Very nice. I don't think I've ever had anything more powerful than a Cuban cigar. And if there's, you're in the chat room, if you know there's something more powerful than a Cuban cigar, just let it be known in the chat room, and I'll bring it up. And because I'm willing to try it. In my 40s, I'm willing to try. Are you willing
to go to Colorado or Washington State?
I'm willing to go anywhere for a good cigar.
Oh, a cigar. Okay. You were looking for something more powerful. I was going to make some suggestions.
And, I'm going to give a big shout out to Bubba Bo Beard in the chat room. He's a longtime friend.
Hey.
He used to be a buddy of mine on Block TV before Block TV got, ran out of money and combined with YouNow. I used to do shows back then in 2007. And Bubba Bo Beard was a big supporter of what I was doing. I would go in his, chat room and, we would do co-host shows and have a good time. But I'm glad Bubba Bo Beard is in here. He's a comedian from Alabama. He's a funny dude. Check him out. He's going on tour. He's actually going to Europe here in a couple of months and laying down the har. So, anyways.
I got to meet him through a show that we almost did here on the Jeff Adams
my
show. Almost did a program with him. And I had more fun just hanging out, watching Jeff try to get all the tech right, just hanging out with Bubba Bo Beard.
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
We had our own little show.
He's a funny dude, man. And you get a chance to check him out. Check him out at Bubba Bo Beard. You can like him on Facebook. Hey, speaking of which, Steven, do we have to take a quick break here? Are we good on time? 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes to go.
It says 3 minutes.
So, hey, Eric, give out the phone number again, and we'll see if we get any calls. Yeah. And then I'll get into my story from break.
1-888-547-8383. That's a toll-free call. 1-888-547-8383. You can be part of the Jeff Adams Show.
So, speaking of which, before we go to break, I've got a pretty funny story I needed to discuss that happened this morning, actually. If you have kids or you're striving to have kids, there's a big meaning behind the story, and it does relate to creativity because you have to, I don't know, I don't want to say I lie to my kids, but I guess if you tell them that Santa Claus is real and the Tooth Fairy is real and the Easter Bunny is real, then I think there is a sort of...
you're lying to your kids. You actually tell your kids that stuff's real?
Yeah, man. Come on. Creativity, bro. It's like, can you imagine? These kids have so much going on these days. They have DSs. They go, Dad, can I borrow your iPad? Like Stephen Haywood was talking about, on Tuesday that he got his girl an iPad mini. And it's just like, when we were kids, we didn't have anything. We had our Atari 2600. We had to wait to get home to do. But when we were driving in our cars, we had to look out the window and be creative and think of ideas to be creative. Now these kids have everything under the sun to entertain them. And, we have big meltdowns when we try to leave, even to Walmart. We have big meltdowns because where's my DS? Where's my DS charger? I want to bring a broke. And they stress out and it becomes a big production. But I do tell my kids to a certain degree about Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy and all that stuff. There's a fine line. Some people say that's not cool. Some people might say, hey, that's fine. But you know what? I think it's creativity, man. Because I remember just being a kid and, for my birthday, we'd go to Disney World and basically I couldn't sleep because I knew I was going to Disney World the next day. I would have so much excitement and I would sit there and think in my mind and be creative and like, okay, what are we going to do? I like this ride right here. And creativity poured out of my brain. I think with the Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, that type of stuff, it's very important for kids. And so before we take this break, we're going to come right back and talk about what I did to ruin the Tooth Fairy for all of the United States of America. I did that this morning. I made a huge mistake. And you will find out here after this break here on the TheJeffAdamsShow.tv. Featured on TheTechBuzz.net.
Jam the Hype, your source for positive hip-hop and R&B. Now on your smartphone or tablet. Playing new music from
Boy, I know
Lecrae,
that I'm foolish, running off at the tulips. Probably wooing all the coolest, persecutors, the boas. Catch me.
Thizzle,
Fresh up off that plane, touchdown in my city. Flew around the world with this bird on my feet.
Jacob,
In the world is such a beautiful place. I know that we can make it.
Flame,
I don't do this so the industry can't know my name. Boy, I do this on purpose.
V-Rose. On our smartphone app, you'll get 24/7 streaming radio, interviews, videos, interact with other music fans, and get live TV broadcasts covering positive hip-hop and R&B events. Now, on the Apple iOS Store and Google Play, Jam the Hype, changing lives with positive hip-hop and R&B. Now on your smartphone or tablet. Jam the Hype, your positive hip-hop and R&B channel.
Hey, wow. It's so great not being able to stress out and push buttons and twist knobs and everything. So, Eric, what I was saying before we went to break, and thank you
Oh, wait,
to
hold that. Let's call that a teaser on the Tooth Fairy story. We'll get back to that in just a bit, but I don't want to waste this man's time. We have a real celebrity on the line. It's Bubba Beaubeard joining us. You too can join us, 1-888-547-8383. Hey, Bubba.
Hey, man, what's going on? It's good to see you guys.
You're on the Jeff Adams Show.
Bubba. I'm the evil Bobo Beard. Boo.
Good, Bubba Bo Beard. Actually, this is a serious Bubba Bo Beard.
It's a serious one. There's actually a serious Bubba Bo Beard in this world. There's a serious Bubba Bo Beard. Are you talking about world peace Bubba Bo Beard?
I just want to say this to you now. It took me like 5 or 6 years to bond with Jeff Adams. And we bonded in, 20 minutes or less?
Yeah, let me tell you an interesting story about Bubba Bo Beard. I wish I had his T-shirt up here, but I met Bubba Bo Beard here, not here. Blog TV is long gone. Me and Bubba Bo Beard met in 2007 on Blog TV, and he was a talented individual, and he just would do these funny little interludes, recordings, and he would do live shows. And he said, "Hey, man, let me send you a T-shirt." I was like, "Man, I'd be honored if you sent me a T-shirt." So he sends me a T-shirt, and I get the T-shirt. It has Bubba's, face on it. And what did your T-shirt say? It said,
It was a limited edition.
What's that?
Actually, it was a limited edition.
Yeah, it was a limited edition, and you said, "That ain't right." It said, "This ain't right." And so,
Right.
I said, hey, this T-shirt fits me well. I'm 6'5", got to lose some weight, but I'm a big guy. And I said, man, this T-shirt fits me perfect. Then I get this email and a text message from Bubba Bo Beard, and he says, "Hey, man, can you send me my T-shirt back? I got to sell that sucker." You can't get more Alabama than that, man. What was up with that, Bubba Bo Beard?
Oh, now he hung up on you, dude.
It's true. I don't make this stuff up. I don't make it up. He asked for his T-shirt back and he got hung up. Bubba, don't be mad at me, man. Come on. Everybody's gonna make their money.
Compliment. He called to compliment you. I don't understand what just happened, man.
What did he do? Did he panic and just hang up the phone, or what did he do?
I don't think that man panics. I don't think he panics. I don't know. You must have offended him.
I'm gonna choke, man. I'm having too hard here.
Man, that was some good PR. We could have made a promo out of that.
That is a true story. And let me tell you something. Bubba Bo Beard, there's no loyal guy. Yeah, Bubba Bo Beard is a loyal guy. And he's actually started a podcast too with him and a guy called Boothie and Friends that were on Blog TV. And if you follow me on Facebook, see, there's the plug, Steven. I'm doing my job, right? You follow me on the Jeff Adams Show on Facebook. I will actually post links to Bubba Bo Beard and Boothie and Friends podcast. And, speaking of which, he's going through this the thing I was watching. I was actually listening to Daryl Hall and John Oates last night, and the guy, I guess Oates, doesn't he look like the guy from Howard Stern? You ever notice that?
Oh, yeah, Baba Booey.
Yeah,
Dude,
Baba Booey.
I gotta tell you, man, the one of the first no, let me sing. Oh, yeah, this was the first concert that I went to on my own. You know, I was taken to concerts as a kid. You know, your parents take you to like Air Supply or something like that. But
Yeah.
I actually went to Hall and Oates, and I have very fond memories of those guys.
Dude,
Where did you see them?
I am a huge fan of them, and I've never seen them live. I mean, I don't know if I want to see them now, being in their 60s, but I wish I would have seen them when they were in their prime. I think I missed out. I love their stuff. For white dudes, they got a whole lot of soul and are so underrated. So underrated. So if you want to call 888-547-8383. And if you have an idea about creativity and you want to talk about it, you want to say, hey, is this a stupid idea? Is this a great idea? You know, hey, I might want to get in business with you. If it's a great idea, I might say, hey, me and Eric, you know, we want to get in business with you.
Oh, it's kind of like the Shark Tank. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good angle.
But if it's something stupid, don't bother. No, I'm just kidding. No, we won't crush you. You know, how many times have I been creative and people have actually crushed my ideas and said, dude, that is a stupid ass idea. But let me encourage you guys out there. You know, you can sit here and critique and you can tear people apart, but in the end, it's all about what you produce and how you bring it out. And if I would have had people tell me that I sucked when I was a musician, and if I would have sucked if I started my own music industry company, if I would have listened to those people, I would have never been successful. And, you know, it's funny that I started this broadcast back in December. I actually originally started doing these podcasts back in 2007. I actually got to test out Ustream, Mogulus, which is now live, live view, or, you know, whatever it's called now. I don't know. Correct me, Steven, if I'm wrong on that. Live view is actually the Mogulus. It's, you know, Mogulus, and what's it called now? Live Now? No. Live stream. So many lives, too many lives. And we got to save lives, right? So, and then, you know, blog TV, and I got to test this thing with the music industry, and I was got to do a lot of things, and I tried to push artists and say, hey, you got to start live streaming. So being in broadcasting in the past, I said, man, I'm a creative guy. I've got to get back into this and just have a voice and help people and just put something out there, you know, and luckily, I am, you know, okay, and I can do this financially. To do a show once a week, I'm very grateful that I'm able to do this. I do consulting work for jamthehype.com. You might have seen the commercial beforehand, and it's been fantastic. We do a lot of live streaming events, and in fact, I'm so happy that you know, Derek Holm. He is the creator of the Microsoft startup window button. And there's jamthehype.com. It's who I consult for, but we do a lot of live streaming events. If you haven't downloaded the app, go download the app on iTunes and the Android. If you got a Google phone, download this app. It's great hip hop music. But Derek Holm, he created the Microsoft startup window, and he's a fantastic guy. But we do these live streaming events for this network. And it's funny, Stephen Haywood, I actually got him to come down. We're doing an event in October called Flavor Fest down in Tampa, Florida. Stephen Haywood's actually to come down and consult for Jam the Hype when we stream these live events out. So we're stoked about that. Stephen, I'm excited about working with you and building with you on the consulting tip. It's going to be fantastic. You are the man when it comes to broadcasting. There's a lot of guys out there, but man, when it comes to technical stuff, there's no one better than Stephen Haywood with the Tech Buzz, period. And there's no nicer guy than Stephen Haywood, period. I mean, I mean that. And he is the real deal. He's, you know, with me getting back into this, I have all this equipment, and Stephen Haywood, man, you got to just go simple with it, you know, and what he's doing with his broadcasting is amazing. He's educating people, and he is just one amazing dude. Beyond the Tech Buzz, he is the real deal. I consider him a friend, and an ally, and he just does not get enough credit. So all these people in the chat room, I know you're here because of Stephen Haywood, and I thank you for hanging out with me and Eric on the Jeff Adams Show. So
Absolutely.
with that, Eric, you've got kids, right?
Yes, I have 3.
You've got 3. I've got 3, and then possibly number 4. We're adopting from Haiti, so we're going down to Haiti to go visit him again. We got to get his passport, green card, but he also has a sister that we're thinking about adopting, so we might have 4 now. So with that, my daughter last night, she, we were talking about before break, creativity. And is it right or wrong to tell you kids that Santa Claus is real, or the Tooth Fairy is real, or the Easter Bunny is real? Let us know, in the chat room. Let us know if that's wrong or right.
It's absolutely wrong.
Well, we'll get there. But for me, I think it's good. And, people want to get all spiritual and go, well, if you're talking about Jesus, Jesus Christ and their lives, how would they associate that with, the Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy when they're not real?
If you lied to me about the Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy, why should I believe you about the invisible, power where Jesus coming from the dead and all?
Look, here's the thing. I don't pray. When I do my prayers at night, I don't pray to the Easter Bunny. I don't pray to Santa Claus. I don't pray to the Tooth Fairy. I pray to God. And if I can lead my kids in the right direction with that, and we don't go to church to worship, the Easter Bunny or the Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. But I think with the cool thing with that, there's so many creative things with that. I mean, when I was a kid, I
get what you're I get what you're saying. I mean, it's kind of like you put magic in the world for a kid, when you talk about these things. It really does, set a fire. They think they live in a world full of where a real bunny could come and deliver eggs, and where the presents show up magically, and where the teeth are replaced by coins, and that's cool, because it does give them a sense of wonder in their lives, and I understand that. But I just think when you can still have that without lying to them, basically. You're basically lying to the kids.
Well, how do you do it, Eric? How do you tell your kids? I mean, if they lose a tooth or something, what do you do when they lose a tooth?
Well, with all of this stuff, we've said at the beginning of whatever season it is, like say it's Christmas or Easter, we just say, hey, you don't only have to explain it once, that every year we play this fun game where when we pretend that there's Santa Claus is coming. Then we would also educate about the historical St. Nicholas and what he was about and why he became all famous and why we even have him as part of Christmas. But then we say, now we're going to play the game, and we're going to do the elf on the shelf, and we're going to do the Santa Claus thing, and we're going to all have fun together. And we play the game with Easter, and we play the game with the Tooth Fairy too. Now I know it's stealing some of that magic because they're not believing that there's all this stuff going on. But we do live in a wonderful world of miracles, and why do you need to make up stuff when you have the real thing right there? That's all I'm saying. And there are some wonderful things that you can awaken in them spiritually and creatively with all that. I'm not coming down on you, man. I work for a place where we're not about religious rules or anything like that. So I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm just saying I don't personally believe that that's the way to go for me.
Okay. The show's over. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. So with you being all supportive of it, which, okay, fine, there's anything wrong with that. But dude, why did you ruin it? How did you ruin it? What are you telling me? And us?
I have a 6-year-old daughter and I have a 8-year-old boy. And for some odd reason, I woke up this morning. My daughter lost her tooth in the pool yesterday. I came home, coming back from the hospital. My dad was in the hospital with some complications. And so I came home and my daughter was so excited. She goes, I lost my tooth. So, I was going to let my wife just, sleep in. So I kind of got up, got the kids up, got the clothes out for school. And so I walked in and my daughter, she's full of attitude anyway. So she starts walking out like this. And she walks out. And so I go, what's wrong? what's wrong? And I picked her up and I hugged her and everything. And she just had an attitude. She goes, the tooth fairy didn't come. And I'm like, oh, jeez. I was like, well, maybe he did, because me and my wife forgot to put money underneath the pillow.
Hey, isn't the tooth fairy female?
I don't know what it is. I mean, it's actually funny. There's our dentist here in Lakeland is called Dr. Bop. And there's a tooth fairy hotline, and you call in and it goes, hi, I'm the tooth fairy, and I represent Dr. Bop. So I always kid around with the kids about Dr. Bop and the tooth fairy and whatnot. So anyways, me and my wife.
Not only are you lying, but you've created a whole conspiracy around this thing where you've gotten doctors and other adults in on it. Okay, great.
Geez. Hey, I'm not perfect like you, Eric. Okay, all right. There's a tooth fairy flying around. Just use some imagination and creativity here.
All right.
So anyway,
so let's get back to you letting your child down. Go ahead.
So I just said it's got to be there, and I walked in there, and me and my wife had a little heated debate, and I just said, hey, we forgot to put a tooth. And she goes, like, that's my responsibility. And I looked at her, I'm like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? She's expecting money underneath her pillow. What do I do? And she goes, just act like it, fell. So I
put it on the
$2.
floor.
Huh?
Yeah, just put it on the floor.
Well, okay. So what I did was I went back in there, and I was in my boxers, no shirt on. You can imagine the visual in that. It's probably not attractive. Big Sasquatch walking around butt naked.
Sasquatch.
Butt naked, not butt naked. And so I go in there and I stuffed like $2 in my boxers, and I just kind of threw it under the bed, and I pulled it out of the bed. I go, hey, you must have knocked it out. Here it is. But she goes, Daddy, the tooth is still here. I'm like,
okay. See, this is how the web of lies it just grows. So first you're lying about the tooth fairy. Now you're lying about the $2, and now you're going to lie about the tooth. So, okay, what kind of lessons are we teaching? We've kept the magic. We've kept the magic, but
creativity.
Go ahead, lie whenever it's convenient for you.
We're letting it fly. Creativity. So I said, hey,
we'll call lying a creative act. Okay.
And I said, before I got to talk to my wife, I said, Jasmine, your bottom teeth don't count. They don't take them. All right. I said, tooth fairy just keeps them because they're not worth anything. If it was your top, they keep them. So anyways, I go back in. I go, hey, I think I got it covered. And she goes, well, I just told him, because my older son actually went in and found in our jewelry cabinet, not my jewelry cabinet, my wife. I don't wear jewelry. You see, I got a tattoo on my ring. So he actually found his teeth. And she said, well, I emailed the tooth fairy and we get to keep your teeth. Something we worked out with the tooth fairy.
A lie.
So I was like,
another lie.
Told me that before I went in there and told her that. What's that?
Oh, the tangled web we weave when at first we practice to deceive. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. It's just so many of,
You know how simple my life is? You know how simple my life is? When we forget to put the money under there, but we go, and my kids get excited when we forget to put the money under there, because they know that the next day that they're going to get money, they're going to get double. They're going to basically get the guilt payoff. Whereas they would normally have gotten $1, they're going to get $2. And if we would actually forget again, they're hoping for it, because then they know that they're going to get $3 out of the deal. So, I mean, we've got a much simpler, I can live free without all of the burden that you're carrying around.
Did your parents actually tell you about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and Easter Bunny and all that stuff?
I was lied to as a child as well.
And do you look back at that and go, dadgummit, that just warped my brain?
No, I don't think it really is that important.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Eric Guzman. I know that I was sweating bullets this morning because of my mistake.
They certainly did worse. They certainly did worse. But you have a lot of anxiety over this. Why do you need to do that?
I don't know. I'm old. I don't know why. I don't know why I have a problem with it. But I don't know. I think I ruined the Tooth Fairy for everybody else, because my son was so determined, because he heard me say that and he goes, well, my teeth are inside mommy's jewelry box. And so I want to take him to school and show them off to people. And he was so determined. I was in the shower. I go, dude, I think I ruined the Tooth Fairy for every kid in America, because my son now wants to take his teeth that he lost in the past and take them to school and go, look, these are my teeth that the tooth fairy left for my parents. And so what if their parents said, hey, well, the tooth fairy takes your teeth off to Never Never Land, and they, build off energy on that? I don't know. But I was just thinking in the shower, go, oh my God, me and my wife are not on the same page. I ruined the tooth fairy for every kid in America, because now my son wants to take his teeth that he lost and take him into school and show them off. And so basically, it's a sad, sad deal that I just ruined the tooth fairy for all of America, because when things like this happen, it spreads like wildfire. And, revival happens across the land, and kids will say, you know what? The tooth fairy is actually your parents. You're actually your parents. And my son's 8. He's a smart kid. He's starting to figure this stuff out. I mean, it's so crazy. I think last Christmas we basically had to take. We were, he's getting sharp because we'd go buy presents and we would hide him underneath, Oh, Eric has a caller. Let's take this caller right now.
No,
Eric.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just that I've got Bubba back, and as long as we're talking about the tooth fairy, I have a question for you, Bubba. Like, when your teeth fall out, does the tooth fairy come for you?
That money's long gone. You gotta have teeth to get money anymore.
Yeah,
correct?
that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, being from Alabama, you know what I'm talking about. Hey, but I'm really impressed with you guys. I mean, the quality and stuff. And did you see how quickly you get famous like Jeff does, and he hangs up on you, man?
I didn't. Hey, listen, I don't do anything. This is a camera streaming live here. If you blame anybody, blame the Merry Monk of Love. I think right now he's the Merry Monk of Hate because he controls the phone line. I'm just sitting here. I just show up. Stephen Haywood's producing the show. Hey, man, don't blame me. Blame.
I said Jeff. He's getting famous, right?
That's what he's working on.
I'm not even close to famous. I am just a average Joe guy that loves being real. That's it, Bubba. I'm just like you, man. I'm losing teeth too. I need to get. I need the tooth fairy to come in and put some money into my pillow. You know what I'm saying?
I know why Jeff wakes up angry at the world.
Why is that, Bubba?
I just took a good look at him on camera.
That's right. We probably should have never did this broadcast thing, internet broadcasting, because, I have a face for radio. And I should have probably kept it that way. Just kept, podcast audio.
And Jeff has one for FBI posters.
What's that?
And Jeff has a face for FBI posters.
That's right. He really does.
Hey, but I want to be serious here for a minute. This is a serious and not the evil Bubba Bowbeard. I am very impressed with the quality of the show. I've had people on my 2 Facebook pages, and I can't be two-faced because otherwise I'd chosen a different face. But these guys are trying to get in here, and they're like on their telephones and stuff. And like, I don't know. We'll figure it out later. I'm trying to watch the show, silly. Here I am trying to find out how the president's going to live well, all this stuff, and trying to figure out how we can get some makeup on jail. I got issues here. I got important things to settle here.
Hey, Bubba.
I can't worry about the telephone right now.
Don't you think he looks a little blue? He kind of looks blue, doesn't he?
I'm on a boat. I'm cute.
Baby blue was the color of his hair, baby blue.
Well, the thing is, this broadcast, you just never know. I mean, when you're doing this live streaming stuff, and, props to Stephen Haywood again for producing the show. But, man, you just start tilting from side to side like you're on a boat. And, you get a little blue in the face. You're like, oh, my God, how did I get myself caught up into this? And you're here, and you're doing what you do. You're doing what you love to do out of passion. And you turn blue in the face. But actually, my lights suck right now. I got to adjust the lights, and I tried to work on it before the broadcast. And it just, you got to go with the flow sometimes and just go.
I'm sorry for drawing attention to it. It's the way that I overcome my nervousness. I just throw other people under the bus, try to make myself look better.
Well, when you're actually in a shot right now, I've got to put my sunglasses on because your baldness actually is so bright that I got to wear shades. My future is so bright with Eric Guzman that I've got to wear shades.
I shaved it just for the show today.
Like I said, you went home and shaved for this show. That's amazing thing.
Vanity,
speaking of
vanity.
which, did the Tooth Fairy? Where did the Tooth Fairy story go? Where did
I
it go?
think we ended at you ruining it for your kid's school.
I ruined it. I ruined it big time. And so with this on the techbuzz.net, I want to thank you guys for hanging out here on the techbuzz.net. And I understand that. I still hear voices in my head. And Stephen Haywood's talking to me, and he's just like coaching me like a beast, like a boss, like a boss, like a boss, like a boss, like a boss. Hey, I'm a rapper. So he said, I started talking about the Tech Buzz, and he goes, I said 5 minutes, not 5 seconds.
Yes, Lord.
Come on, man. I used to be a rapper, for crying out loud. I can freestyle a little bit.
Put the brakes on. Hey, it's time for a train wreck. Say something in Jeff's head.
God, is that you? Is it you? You sound like Stephen Haywood from the Tech Buzz. Just get out of my head, man. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. And like I said before, when I was getting back into this, I decided, back in November, I started buying some equipment. I started searching YouTube. Stephen Haywood, the Tech Buzz, he was all over YouTube, especially for Wirecast, especially. And, he did all these reviews, and I'm like, man, this guy's cool. He's so educational. He gets to the point. He tells you what you need to do and what you should avoid.
Basically like the opposite of this program. We're so sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Stephen Haywood actually helps you. And then after you watch this Jeff Adams show, you say, why did I waste an hour of my time of them just babbling, talking about absolutely nothing that means anything that comes to my broadcast? But in any event, Stephen Haywood is the man. The techbuzz.net is the place to be. I got to actually know him at NAB this past couple months ago at NAB, and I was hired out by this company called Kelby Media Group. They do educational videos for BH Photo, and I was producing those shows. And my last day I had free, which was a Wednesday before I flew out. I told Steven, hey man, I'm free. So I walked the floor with him. He was streaming live, and dude, like Stephen Haywood is the dude when it comes to this stuff. I mean, he was going to all these technology companies. The company I worked for was pretty, credible too. They were handing out free stuff because they do reviews for BH Photo. But I was walking with Stephen Haywood, and people were just handing him stuff left and right of what he was doing. And I said,
good gig.
And I said, Stephen Haywood is a innovator, and he's got vision, and he loves to he strives for perfection. And the first time he saw my show, he started picking it apart, and I was like, man, that kind of hurts. But from a technical standpoint, I knew I didn't have it all together. Like I said earlier, it was like U2 showing up to play a gig and they have to run their own sound. I'm not saying I'm U2 from the musical standpoint by any means, but I'm just giving you that example. I'm more like a local band. And then it shows up. So, but Eric, on the other hand, he's a professional. He's in broadcasting still. I am not. I'm a music manager, managing lots of bands. Used to manage lots of bands. Now I do a lot of consulting and having a midlife crisis, and I'm carrying on with my life. So with that, I am surrounded by amazing people that believe in a vision of, something that started into nothing that leads to something. And Eric, when we started doing this show, you said, dude, this is not going to work. But let me tell you, we're episode 10 into this thing.
I didn't say that.
Well, let's just be real here. You said, dude, this is not going to work. You got to have some kind of substance. But we're episode 10 of this. Now we have a producer. We're on a freaking tech bus.
It's happening, man. We're on our way, and I think we've taken a giant leap forward this week.
Yeah.
And might I also say, hey, we've got Bubba Bo Beard. He's on the phone. We should say goodbye to him.
Bubba Bo Beard, you got any last words before we go? We're running out of time here.
Okay, this is my last word. First of all, I'm very impressed with the quality of your show. No matter who you are, where you live, or your circumstances in life, just remember, somebody in Alabama loves y'all, and God bless you.
Thank you, Bubba Bo Beard.
There you go.
We're
Thanks
down to 1 minute.
By.
And let me thank you to all Stephen Haywood's friends in the chat room. Thank you so much. Hopefully, give us a chance. Hopefully we can connect. I watch his show lives on Tuesday. Mondays I have conference calls, so I can't do it. But hopefully we can connect and build a friendship that lasts. When can they watch the show next? Stephen Haywood talking as God in my ear is basically they can watch it next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And
he just told me I need to slap you.
That you?
Oh, wait, you
I
heard
finally
that.
hear you.
Oh, wait.
I have
Was
the
that-
God of internet broadcasting speaking in my ear right now. Wow. I have seen the light. Blinded by the light. So, anyways, with that, thank you so much for hanging out. Eric Guzman, you got any last minute plugs?
Yeah, I'll see you in Miami June 1st at El Lector. Go to themerrymonk.com for details. And may I just say, may God bless the hell out of you. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
May God bless the hell out of you. What the hell? Adios. Thank you, Stephen Haywood, the Tech Buzz. Thank you for everybody hanging out in the chat room. It's been a real pleasure hanging out with you guys. Hopefully we didn't disappoint. Give us some time. We will grow on you. I pray to the gods of Stephen Haywood right now that this will work out. Adios. Thank you for watching the TheJeffAdamsShow.tv, thetechbuzz.net, the best place for education and how to do a broadcast the right way. Peace.
If you were thrilled with this broadcast, we want to thank the folks over at BitGravity. They are the exclusive HD provider here of the Tech Buzz Network. If you want to check out everything that BitGravity has to offer, feel free to head on over to info.bitgravity.com/TTB. There you'll find all the pricing, availability, and also the ability, whether you want to run it on iOS, Android, or any other mobile platform for that matter, to watch The Jeff Adams Show, as well as the many other shows that are on the network and that are coming to the network. We want to thank them for their support, continued support here of the Tech Buzz.